Welcome to Poly Table Talk, real love, real talk. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you for joining us. We are the Polyamorous, the few that love the many. On Poly Table Talk, we cover topics related to poly-based relationships from the Black community perspective. We talk about what polyamory is, what polyamory isn't, offering a wide range of unique and diverse opinions. Poly Table Talk is based on the concept of Kitchen Table Polyamory. Kitchen Table Polyamory is the idea that everyone connected in the polyamorous relationship can come to the table and talk about it openly. No secrets, no lies. We promote ethical non-monogamy, open and authentic communication. It's time to grow up if we want to bring out them toys. If we want to build community, invest in each other, and create long-lasting and loving relationships where everybody wins. Be sure to visit the website polytabletalk.com. Search our handle at polytabletalk on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. All right, we have a very special episode for you. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. I'm your host, Jay. This is...
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to introduce yourself. This is Poly Table Talk, real love, real talk. It just got real already.
Yeah.
So, but we wanted to bring another episode to you guys. You know, we've been a little on the hiatus side of things. But this time, we got, I think, a pretty good topic. And that is, which do we prefer, dating together or dating separate? What we like about each, and maybe what we don't care for so much or don't like about the two of those. So I guess we'll jump right in. I'll go first, or do you want to go first?
Well, yeah.
Yes, you do. You don't.
I don't care. I mean, whatever.
Okay. Talk about dating together first.
And just full disclosure, like, we recorded this already and then the audio messed up. So we gotta just bounce back.
Yeah.
Give it a second go.
It was really good, but hey, it happens,
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
So
but yeah,
we're gonna bounce back.
The dating together. I'll go first. So with dating together, I think the thing I liked most about dating together and being in a triad was the emotion of it, and just seeing like how you felt about somebody and knowing that I felt the same way about that person, they felt that way about us, and just that chemistry that you have when everything is just firing off on all the right cylinders. And then the other thing that I liked about dating together was just us having this kind of insider knowledge about how we felt about one another, about being in a relationship together, and just like feeling like good about that, and like, yeah, this is what we do, this is how we feel about each other. And I don't know, there's just something about that, just like knowing that we all are our thing, and we care about each other deeply. That to me felt really good.
What did I like about dating together? I enjoyed just being a part of everything, like being involved in your relationship or in a relationship together, especially when we were like brand new to this. We started dating together, I don't know, within 6 months of kind of being poly, I feel like, or around there somewhere. 6 to 8 months, or
less than that. It was 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, in the beginning, absolutely, it just helped me to feel like secure and included, and just like we were doing it together. It just felt good to date together that way. I think it was a good way to kind of start and like have an introduction to polyamory. So I enjoyed that aspect. I enjoyed, seeing you with someone, seeing you like get attention and, flirt and kind of just have fun with someone else. Like, it was difficult, but there was a positive to it as well. What else did I like? I like kind of the rebel aspect of dating together. Like, there's the three of us, and in a regular situation, like we shouldn't all be getting along, or this shouldn't be working. But yet here we are, me and this other woman and you, and we're having fun and we're getting along, and I like that. I think that's really cool. Like, no, we can make this work and we can have fun, and this is possible and positive, and edifying, and builds you. It's like it feels good to do that. So like I enjoyed those aspects of dating together for sure.
Okay. I guess another thing I would have to mention is I definitely did enjoy getting attention from the two of you. Like, I'm a person that, when it comes to love languages and the way I like to be loved, top two love languages: physical touch and affirmation, words of affirmation. So having two people affirm me and who I am, was definitely a positive. So,
but you can get that dating separate.
Yeah, that's true, but you can't get it from two people dating separate at one time. You know what I mean?
So like getting it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different when, like, if I'm dating a person and they're separate from you, like, the affirmation is going to come one at a time versus us all being in one relationship together, right? That alone affirms me with the two of you, right? And especially since the two of you are in agreement about me, right? And I think that, whether, and it's not always like a verbal affirmation. Like, if we are all together and we're going to a movie together, or I don't know, just going to a grocery store together or something, and having the two of you just with me, right? Not necessarily even by my side, but just having that knowledge that, okay, these two women both feel the same way, or maybe not exactly the same way because everyone's emotions are different, but these two women both have a love for me, and that just is honestly I think maybe it's a little bit of ego there too as well, but it's definitely affirming that you are desirable, that you are wanted, that you are loved, that you are cared for, and that there are qualities in you that make this work, right? So I definitely feel like, and I don't think that just can be just for me. It can be for everyone as well, because again, it's not a relationship where it's just one relationship. It's three different relationships, right? There's the relationship that I have with you, the relationship I have with her, and then there's a relationship that we all have together, and then vice versa for everyone.
But that's what we're talking about what you like about dating together.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Now, we got into in the first recording, we talked about what our kind of definition of dating is.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And we probably came at it from a slightly different perspective.
Well, I'd asked, like, what do you consider dating? Would you consider you're dating someone that you haven't physically met? I think was the question I'd asked.
Yeah, I definitely would. As I was saying before, I would definitely consider that dating someone. I think dating is you just getting to know somebody and you literally going on dates with someone, right? And I don't think that has to happen if it can't be physically dating because they're a long distance partner. Then you just have to spruce it up. Maybe you guys, watch Netflix together, or maybe you guys just go out to the park and chill in nature and talk, and or you go out to, I don't know, a restaurant. I've done that before. Go out to a restaurant and we both FaceTime, or we video chat.
Would you consider yourself in a relationship with someone you haven't physically met?
Yeah, I could definitely, as long as that, I think then you rely more on the emotional connection versus the physical connection, right? Because obviously that can't be there in a long distance relationship if you haven't seen the person. But yeah, I think it just depends, right? Yeah.
See, for me, that's where we differ. Like, for me, I definitely need to have a physical meet. Absolutely, before I would consider myself in a relationship with someone. Dating, I guess, can maybe go either way. Yes, with you. I didn't consider, that's what you're laughing at?
Well, I'm thinking about us because we were long distance when we first started.
But I didn't consider myself in a relationship with you per se until we met. Like it because
so we were saying I love you and everything before we even met. So
yeah, you can have feelings for someone, but it can all be cut off once you meet. You could meet. We could have done that and met, and that thing could have fallen. So
you would say that before we met, because it took us about a month to meet.
Yep, took about a month.
So in that time frame, that it took a month for us to meet, we weren't in a relationship.
I think it's for me, it's safer.
Oh, okay.
To reserve saying I'm in a relationship.
Hey, we can be unique, you know? And now you can feel that way about...
I mean, we were young. That was my 20s. Okay. Like, we're talking about when I was 24 years old. I mean, really. Okay. So,
I know that's a long time
today,
ago.
Today, I feel like I definitely want to meet someone physically before I give some sort of a commitment or some sort of a title or some sort of whatever to a relationship. Yeah. Because it's one thing to text someone, it's one thing to talk on the phone or FaceTime or whatever, video chat. Yeah. But you can meet that person and learn a whole lot more, you know, and just having that, there's an energy and a chemistry and a connection to physically being in the same space. And I think for me personally, until you've experienced that, you don't really know what you have. That's just how I roll. I guess.
I get it. You know, teach their own. You know, that's cool. Okay, so
there are exceptions to everything, but generally speaking, that's how I kind of think about it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just think there's natural stages to dating. You know, whether when you first meet somebody, it's that first interaction, whether it's on an OkCupid or dating site or whatever you utilize, or like you have that interaction, then you go to talking and over the phone maybe, and then you go and you see the person, you go on your first date, and then you're like, oh, like maybe this isn't exactly what, and that's happened to me, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not doubting that, but after you go on a date number 2, number 3, number 4, then like I feel like, okay, you've made a decision to like pursue this person, right? And now you're, you get to a point where you're like, man, I really like you, I'm really digging you, and then I think you are courting that person, to use a kind of old-fashioned term, but like, I think that's now you're in pursuit of each other. You're looking to see if this is going to be serious. Mm-hmm. And that for some people that may be 8 dates, whatever it is for you, but and then it progresses naturally to where you have that conversation where like, okay, what is this now? Are we in a relationship? And that doesn't necessarily mean exclusivity, because we're poly, but there's definitely an establishment of something that is real and a connection and like something that has some level of commitment to it, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I think you can have all of that with the long distance relationship. But I also understand like the need to like, okay, let's just make sure we're good, and to actually fly out or drive out, however far, get on the boat, whatever you got to do.
For me, I would need that. For me, I would.
I understand. So back on topic, what did you not like or not prefer, or was less of a interest or didn't really care for, whatever you want to call it?
I don't know the question yet.
The question is, what did you not like or not care for in dating together or dating separate, whichever you
we're talking about dating together.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about dating separate yet. Sorry. Yeah. So, what did you not like about dating together?
Dating together. What did I not like? It was difficult, especially again because we've only dated together in the beginning of being poly. So it was I had a lot of like jealousy and insecurity and, comparison, and like it was a culture shock too, so that made it less enjoyable than I think it would be today. Like now that we're over a year in to being polyamorous, like I know for sure I would enjoy dating together a lot more than I did when we first started, just because I've been through, been around the block a little bit, and been through those tough initial emotions and situations. Yeah. So that was difficult, just seeing you be different with other women, or what I consider to be different with other women. Seeing you have a newness with someone else that, frankly, we don't have anymore. I mean, you can't have a newness 10 years in. I don't think so. You can have a lot of other things, but the newness, you don't have. You don't have an NRE in a 10-year relationship. You just don't, Yeah. And so an NRE, new relationship energy. Like, you just don't have that. You have other great things that you build with time and experience and all that. But so that, I think that was definitely difficult for me. Something I didn't really care for. Dating together. Yeah, I think that might be the only thing I didn't like. And not that I don't think that jealousies or insecurities won't be there. They will, that kind of stuff gets in there, but I know how to handle them. Like, it won't catch me as off guard as it did the first time around. At least I hope. I hope not. No promises, but nah. So yeah, that's, I guess, really.
That makes two of us. That makes two of us.
What about you? What didn't you like?
Before I answer that, what I didn't like, I did want to say, when you mentioned NRE, I do think there's an NRE that exists because it's a new relationship, right? Oh, maybe there is an NRE between you and I, just because, you get used to a person, like you said, there's other things to bounce out. And I think that's with anything. Like, you get a brand new car, after a year, the car has no more NRE. Like
washing it every week.
Right? You're not doing all the same thing, right? You get a new house after a year and a half, 2 years go by, there's no more NRE with that house, right? Like, there's things you love about it and whatnot, but NRE wears off. So yeah, I would say that. But the NRE can exist now with this new dynamic, and you like really enjoying me spending time with them, and you enjoying you spending time with them, and all of us like, and just that newness. I think that
that part was fine, but seeing you have NRE with someone else,
well, maybe I'll take that back. Maybe you wouldn't enjoy that so much,
Like, the group NRE is cool, but that individual NRE that I'm not a part of, I had a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I don't get jealous like very often, and when I do, it's like boop, and it's gone. If anything, like
and that it fluctuates as well, because I think that's how you are with me, but with your other partners, it wasn't quite that. Boop. It wasn't that easy.
I think that's partially true. And part of that has to do with my security in you, and I.
So I'm just saying, I just wanted to.
So, but I will say it. Even then, though, it wasn't like, like it came and went. Like, okay, I just need to process it. I have more difficulty with like other things than jealousy, but jealousy wasn't like, it never like where then I acted negatively in reaction to that jealousy I felt. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't judge people's jealousy, but
I'm not judging your jealousy. I'm just saying, for me, I didn't. You know, again, there's that comparison, right? You know, you compared. Oh, you're not comparing.
That's how you was comparing.
I'm not. I'm just
saying my jealousy smells like this, and your jealousy smells like that.
But everybody's different, right? Like what I got caught up on, you didn't get caught up on. You know what I mean? Like everyone has their hang-ups, right? And that's just, for me, it's just not one, you know? So to some degree I can understand, but identify with in that regard, maybe not so much.
Cool.
But yeah, so back to the question, what didn't I like about
it took you a long time to come around and answer that.
No, because I really wanted to talk about the NRE because I thought that was interesting, you know? Yeah, I thought that was definitely interesting. But what I didn't like about dating together, I think the aspect of worrying about other people's emotions was one. Just in that, like, if you two had a little spat, or, you know, maybe were worried about how the other person's thinking, like, I felt the need to get in the middle and, like, trying to referee. I think that was one thing that, like, became a weight that didn't need to be a weight for me. But again, you live and you learn, right? So I think this time around, like, I would definitely, like, oh, they're having a thing, like, they need to work out. Now, if, you know, if they want me involved to listen or to support, I'm glad to do that, you know. But I definitely understand now, like, no, they have their own relationship, their own dynamic, and they need to work that out. And I just need to trust that they're going to be adults to do that, you know. The other thing that is worrying about how you are going to feel when I behave with this other person in a certain manner, right? Whether it's, you know, because I'm being sweet to them and you and I got in an argument earlier that day, or, you know, just worrying about, like, what other people think within the relationship about how I treat the other people, you know. I think that one was also another thing that I was like, I would definitely this time around, like, feel like, this time around I would feel like, man, just be a lot more lighthearted, you know, like, just enjoy it, have fun, you know, not take things so seriously. Like, if you two had a little issue, like, okay, it's a little issue, you know, I don't need to go and fix it, or if you get upset, you know, or feel a little jealousy about, you know, me spending time with this person or calling them first or whatever, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it so much, you know.
Interesting.
This time around, because there's no need to be so stressed out. Like, these things happen, you know what I mean? It's just about the people that are involved needing to process, you know, like, again, being less of a referee. And I think that comes just from being a guy, and, like, every problem needs a hammer. Like, let me go fix this, you know? Yeah, that's not necessary, you know, like, yeah.
Cool.
So we talked about what we liked about dating together and dating apart.
No, we talked about...
what we liked about dating together and what we didn't like about dating together. Right. Now, let's talk about what we like about dating separate.
Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
What I like about dating separate is that I don't have to worry about all those things I just talked about before. You know, I don't worry about balancing someone else. I don't have one person to worry about and how they see things and how they feel. It's almost like when you're in a triad situation and you are dealing with one person in that situation, you got another person, like, observing everything, right? And they get to make their own assessments. But when you're just dealing with one person, like, you just get to, you know, deal with that one person, I guess. So you don't have to balance the emotions of the other person as much because you're not worried about all the different dynamics that are happening. I would say that's probably what I like about dating separate. And I would say that.
What I like about dating separate is just having a separate relationship or having like a separate life, so to speak. Like
getaway.
I'm more, yeah, absolutely. Like I'm more of an introvert. I'm also a Gemini, and so at least my son is Gemini. So that really feeds into like having my, you know, my separate people can kind of play in their little areas, you know. It nice. Is what it is, you know. Nice. That really, can I play with you, Cody? Yeah, like it really suits me, you know. Where I have this home life here, and then I have this life here. I have this, you know, like I have my separate kind of things.
I hear you.
For my personality, that just really suits me. So I enjoy that a lot. I think that is the thing I enjoy the most about dating separate. It's just having my own little getaway, which is why, you know, we talked about originally having a quad, you know, and everyone living together. How I even said I would be open to having a triad or a throuple and living together that way, because I would still be able to have that private, separate, you know, dating situation because a part of us, even if we're dating together, we're always going to date separate because you don't date men, you know? So my dating is always kind of separate from you in a, you know, to a large extent, or to that extent at least.
Yeah.
And so, you know, even if we were in a triad or throuple, we're all living together with the three of us, I would still get that separate relationship, which I do feel like is a need. I feel like that's definitely a need for me in being poly. So yeah, that's something that I like. Yeah, I mean, and who knows? You're giving me the look like, oh, it's a need now.
No, I mean, like, and I think one thing that I like about doing these podcasts and doing the video of the podcast is that real reactions, you know, to a lot of things, because not everything we talk about in detail all the time. So we'll touch on a topic like this and something new will come, like, oh, okay, you know? And it's just a matter of like being real and allow yourself to process what you hear. It's not about liking everything or agreeing with everything. I mean, that's the whole point of really being poly, is that you get those different perspectives and dynamics within the relationship.
And separate doesn't mean secret, you know, like we talk about anything, you know. If you ask me something, I'll answer. I'll be honest and truthful. We share, we talk in that way. But yeah, there is something for me in just having that space.
And maybe in another video, you know, we'll get into like why I have a preference for a quad, right? But I mean, for now, it's to not go off topic. I mean, no, that I understand. Like, again, I have a preference, right? Everyone has a, you know, a preferred way of relating, you know. In
a quad would be ideal. I mean, that is like an ultimate ideal. There's just, again, more moving parts. Like that is very difficult to find and to get and to make work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, getting two unicorns.
Yeah,
almost,
so
like, not that I like that term, but
yeah, I don't like that term. But yeah, that's just that more difficult.
I guess I just meant it from like the rarity, right? Not necessarily like that people are animals are related to
mythical
mythical creature, but just the difficulty in finding a horse with a, you know, like you can't go out, you know, like you gotta get a storybook for that, right? Yeah. But we're trying to manifest real things, so real people, you know, real love,
which is why I opened up to triad, you know, because I realized that, and you know, I'm willing to be flexible, you know, so yeah.
Okay.
What didn't you like
about dating?
What don't you like about dating separate?
I don't like that I don't get to be, because again, when you date someone that's at least a male, I'm not involved in that at all, right? So sometimes it can feel like, especially if we're in a triad situation, I guess I'm getting into this part, but if we're in a triad situation and then you have another person outside of that, it's almost like, we talked about this before, like the double dipping, right? Like, or you have this over here that's all off to yourself, you know, and then you have, you know, this person that I'm also involved with, but then I'm also sharing that person with you, you know? So that has its own aspect to it. Not that I want to necessarily get into. I mean, that could be another topic for another video, right? Yeah. But I would just say that the dislike, I don't like the. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, it's probably a better way to describe that. But the thing that I think would bother me most is that I don't get to, I guess, be involved in that, in knowing, like, about, because a lot of times when you date a guy, they're not trying to, they think it's already, like, what's going on here? Like, what's the situation? Like, they are often standoffish, right? Because, we're in a space where we want to build with other people, you know what I mean? Like, we want to grow, we want to be a family and so forth. And have that type of dynamic. And of course, being a heterosexual male, that doesn't necessarily mean I want to be involved with that person sexually, but if they're connected to you in that way, I like to get to know them. You know what I mean?
And be around our kids,
and be around, exactly. So, but that often gets delayed because you have to try and get to know them. You have to build up a relationship with them and trust and so forth before I get to know them. And by then, your relationship is already established.
So I got a little lost in your answer. So, like, with in the context of us dating together,
yeah,
and then juxtaposing that with dating separate,
yeah,
what don't you like about dating separately?
I don't like that. I don't get to, I guess, be in your business a little bit. To the degree
not
that,
if I'm dating a man, like we're couple, like dating together. If we're both dating a woman, what don't you like about dating separately? I guess I still feel
so
like it's
if there's a difference between dating together, where we're in a triad, right?
Right.
Versus dating separate, whether it's a man or woman that you're dating, they're over here. I don't have any involvement with them.
Okay.
Right. So, like, I don't get to know them or know.
But if it's a woman that you're dating, you do know them.
But
if you're dating a woman I'm not dating with you, what don't you like about that?
I'm not talking about someone I'm dating. I'm talking about the idea of dating separate, right? If I'm dating someone separately and you're dating someone separately, I don't get to know that person, and I don't get to be involved in.
So you don't want to approach it from the triad perspective. You just want to approach it from that perspective.
Well, if we're dating separately, we're not in a triad.
I know, but you talked about the benefits to dating together.
Well, that's not what we're talking about right now. Right now, we're talking about what we don't like about dating separate.
Okay, maybe I'm just being the slow one right now. Okay.
So what is your question?
No, maybe you've answered it. That's
okay.
Fine.
Okay. So, again, when dating separate, I don't get to know the person that you're dating and be involved in why you like that person, like how you getting to know them and so forth.
See, I thought you would say something like you don't get as much of that affirmation that you like. You don't get
I still get affirmation,
but the way that you liked it and how it was a positive. Like, I don't know. I guess your answer is your answer.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily, just because it's a positive over here doesn't mean it's going to be a negative over here,
I guess so.
But that's what just comes to mind. I mean, there are probably other things that I definitely don't care for about dating separate.
But that's the main thing that comes to
mind. That's the main thing. I mean, just a real quick hitter, one thing I don't like about dating separate is that it feels like we are apart. It feels like there's this, you do your thing, I do my thing, but at the same time, that's a little bit enjoyable, to have your own thing and to have that freedom to go over here and do this, so, but yeah.
What I do not like about dating separately is definitely same thing, not being included, not feeling like I'm involved, not having but these are literally the opposites to what I said, and I feel like you kind of did something completely different from what you said was a positive.
No, I'm talking about the negative. Like you're saying the same thing I just said about the negative. So you get me now.
Yes, I was just saying I expected your answer to be different based off of.
No, it's not. It is
real love, real talk. And so, yeah, like what I don't like about being separate. Yeah.
That you're not included. You're saying not included.
Yeah, that I'm not included. I guess that's it. I feel like I had a better answer the first recording. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, take your time.
What I don't like about dating separate. Yeah, like I just feel like, you just miss out on the camaraderie of it all. Like there's that funness to dating together. It's fun. It's FOMO. It's different. No, there's no fear of missing out, but it's fun. It's like it's more fun with more people. It's more work, but there's more rewards. It's more there's a lot more fun to be had as well. Whether it's sexually, not like it's more fun. Like having a group or having three, like yeah. So I think that's what I don't like is you don't have that. You don't have that extra, like, yeah, we're poly. Yeah, you can, we have these other people that we love and that we're in relationships with, but it's not a new dynamic. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just separated.
Yeah, it's just separate. It's not a new dynamic. So that's what I don't like. I like that new dynamic of like, oh, we're doing something that's unconventional and that's cool and they're truly a new experience. Yeah. I miss that. Like I would definitely, I enjoyed having that. I enjoyed working towards that. I enjoyed the messy, like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So
I think now that you say that, I think one other thing that I didn't realize, again, this is going back to the previous podcast video of, dreams versus expectations, and that when we date separate, you have to spend time away from the house. Mm-hmm. When I date separate, I spend time away from the house. So that means we spend less time even together. Mm-hmm. And then that becomes a true balancing act with, who watches the kids? Do we hire a sitter because we both want to be out at the same time? And then balancing how much time you and I spend together. Absolutely. That is a challenge that is not fun. Yeah. That is a big downside to dating separately as a polyamorous couple. That really steers me into the direction of being in a triad, because then like when we go out, I don't have to not spend time with you because I want to spend time with this other person.
For the most part. I mean, there definitely will be times.
Right. But it's definitely not to the degree, I agree. In hours, the amount of hours that, require us to be separate. Because, I mean, you think about just travel time, right? We live in a big metropolitan area. So just getting to the person, that could be a half hour to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how far, where they live. And then me traveling to this person and then traveling back. Like, so one date can easily take 4 hours. Easily, easily take 4 hours. I'm talking 2 hours you spend with the person, and that's just if you just do dinner, right? And then drive back. That's, easy 3 to 4 hours right there gone. So, I would say, yeah.
No, that's a really good one.
That one is something that definitely steers me toward
dating
together.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Versus dating separate.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons to it, because sometimes you also enjoy that time away from the house, of course, away from everything else,
And again, you can still have that dating together. One doesn't negate the other. You know what I mean? Like, we could date together and we can still have time away. But I mean, within that,
that's where, like, for me, like the time management thing, like time management becomes like almost like a hassle and then it slows the progress of all the relationships down.
No, I meant,
because just in the sense that, like, you don't have as much time to spend without that person you're dating, because you have to spend time with this person or that person. Like, let's say we are in a triad, right? That's 3 of us, right? And then we each have someone else that we date.
No, that's not what I was talking about. I was saying the three of us, we can date together and be a thruple. And then within the thruple, you can still have time apart or time away.
Absolutely.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
I didn't mean with everybody having a whole nother person.
Well, I was just thinking about like when you said, dating in a triad and then having a guy over here that you would want to date, like that is another relationship that you would want to have. Like, no, like that becomes time management, right?
Okay, but I wasn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I was. I guess
that's what I'm thinking of. Like, I think the times where you like as a triad, like you have a 1-to-1 with somebody,
Right. That's
like,
what I was referring to.
That is going to happen. I think less than the times you are all together, right? Yeah. And that's natural and normal to
and
exist.
I think even I know we're getting off topic, but even within the throuple and everyone in the throuple is seeing someone outside of the throuple. Like you can still make time management isn't that complicated.
Now
you can say, 1 day a week or you know what I mean? Like it's not just we just out here and we in this throuple, but just saying such and such is gone 3 days out of the week from the throuple. Like you know what I mean? Like you
think about it's not when you dated people, right? When we did have our triad and you were still dating somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outside, how much time did that person want to spend with you?
Right, but you gotta. Hey, look, this is the time that. The time that I have. This is what we like. You gotta. It's again finding balance and finding people that are okay with what you have to offer.
I'm just saying,
it is what it is.
But that all comes down to again what I said: time management,
and I'm just saying it's not,
and having to deal with that. Like for me, like that is a downside.
Okay, yeah, that works for me. I mean, I find that. I don't know, maybe it's being a woman or maybe it's different, but
no. I don't think it has anything to do with being a woman,
Well, this is my perspective.
Okay.
You have yours.
I'm just saying I just don't think it because I'm not a woman, like I might have some issue with time management.
That's not what I meant. Okay. I'm saying that being a woman and that I primarily deal with men, it's time management is not that difficult for me
because it's worth it for you to like have to.
Not so much that, but I guess maybe it's the men that I've dealt with. I mean, definitely some like depending on how involved I am, they do want more and more of my time. But for the most part, it's especially if they know I'm polyamorous, which they all do. It's pretty easy to be like, this is the days or times that I have, and they're okay with that because they're dating other people. And I'm saying as opposed to maybe a lot of women who are maybe a little more needy of time or of attention. That's the perspective I was coming from. And again, not to generalize men and women, everyone's different. Forgive me, but generally speaking, at least that's my experience, that the guy's kind of like, okay, Thursdays. Now, definitely if you get to being in depth in a relationship, you're going to want more time with each other and with that person. But for the most part, I find that it's pretty easy for me, in the relationships that I've had or people that I've dated, to manage time and expectations with, this is the time that I have. I'm available this day of the week or during these times. I'm not on call for you or available. Like, this is a different type of relationship. Like, I'm poly, I have this going on. I have a throuple. I have, like kids, etc. Like, I can't just date as a monogamous person who's unattached. You know what I mean? So, I'm saying that men are a little more, at least the men that I've dated have been a little more understanding of that.
Yeah. No.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
not that men can't do well at time management.
Yeah, I don't think. I think people, yes, can be very understanding. I'm just saying that there's still that aspect where you have to have those conversations. You have to, even balance. Okay, I'm dating so and so, and I haven't seen them in 2 weeks. I need to spend time because I want to cultivate a relationship with this person, right? And I'm just saying, like, there are things that come along with that, like again, a slowing down in the progression of a relationship. A relationship has to move much slower, just like to some degree, a long distance relationship has to move a lot slower than one where it's in person, right? you don't get that physical time together to help progress along those feelings or progress along the sexual needs or whatever, that come with it.
Interestingly enough, long distance relationships move faster to me than close ones. But that's for another podcast.
All right. So have we talked about everything?
Yeah, it's 43 minutes.
Oh man, we've exhausted this. We went longer this one than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good exchange. Very good exchange. Let us know in the comments what you all think. Do you think that time management would be an issue for you? Would you care so much about that? I think these are things that people who are not poly or just getting into polyamory, they don't think about these things, right? Getting in that, I have to have a schedule almost, depending on the partners you have,
work-life balance. I mean, home and
right. 8 hours of your day is with the job, another 5 to 8 sleeping if you can get that much. Then you have, kids or family time, wifey, hubby time, or boyfriend, girlfriend time.
Or what if you're using me time, some personal time?
Chores around the house, it can go on and on and on.
And also, let us know the pros and cons that you feel about dating together, dating separate. Any tips, tricks, all that. Let's share information. Let's share knowledge. Let's build and help each other to be successful in our relationships and our endeavors.
Yeah, and for those of you who would only want to have a close relationship, I think the same things are true in a close triad or close quad or quintuple, whatever you have. But it's all about time management and managing expectations and some assumptions that people may have coming in and just having those conversations. But our experience in dating together and dating separate has been interesting, to say the least. So that being said, thank you for joining us on this episode of the podcast and video on YouTube. This is Poly Table Talk. Real love.
Real talk.